So last time, to make this as brief as I possibly can, you guys came together after your brief fits of thinking you'd kill each other. Someone was trying to steal your stuff, and voices uncontrollably yelling in your head. You guys regrouped and decided to continue on in your exploration of this castle. As you guys had kind of proceeded up the right side of the castle through this long hallway attached to the library, you came across a large study on the left, filled with a large amount of bookcases, mostly empty, an organ, a lizard skin rug, some statues, and a fireplace. And you saw that the hallway, due to what you presume to be the strange occurrence that had happened a little while before, a lot of rubble has now collapsed in this hallway, kind of blocking you from advancing any further north up this way. However, you were able to enter into what remains of the smithy, in which you were attacked by a pair of skeletons, a zombie, and a rather nasty specter that almost put a couple of you in the ground. And I will admit to the listening audience, I admitted it to the others here, that I should have had them rolling when they were casting spells against
Fire him.
the Ferez's
Get rid of him.
influence.
Replace him.
I'm sorry. Thank you all. Good night.
That's it.
Yes, so, but I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to have them roll a bunch of shit, because it's too late. It's too goddamn late.
I mean, I guess to my it's to my benefit that none of my spells really went off. Like, of the
True.
spell slots that I wasted, I think only really one spell was released.
Yeah, I only had one.
You mean one that made contact?
No, I mean one that was released. I think I lost 2 in held actions.
Yeah.
That's right, you did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
all comes out in the
instant new nap. But here you guys are. You have just ended this combat. The skeletal bodies and rotty, fleshy corpse of that zombie are scattered about the smithy. I'll kind of re-describe it for you guys. You might need to zoom in on it on your Roll20 here. So where Sephel and Indigo are, to the far north of northern wall of this room, there's actually a broken bed.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath Sephel, there is by Lara on the northeastern side, or northwestern side. There is an old bureau that's been broken and, moth-eaten. Types of clothes are strewn about inside. By you, Indigo, on the eastern side, there are 2 training dummies, very old. You see some very old and broken arrows kind of spattered about there. You guys do see that there are a couple of the small crystals jutting up through the floor. You see underneath the foot of this bed that there is a very old, very mangled bearskin rug. Farther south along the eastern wall, you see a much smaller forge and a grinding wheel. And then in the middle here, there are 2 racks filled with very old, rusted and pitted shields and weapons. And there's a kind of crafting table down by stool, kind of in the middle south of the room. And then on the far bottom south wall, there is a very large forge as well, with a very nasty-looking quenching pool. And then towards the eastern wall, there is a big drawing table by Athera. What do you guys want to do?
Well, right off the bat, Lara is examining every weapon to see if it has any use at all. If it's looking like they're all rusted, then she's just growing more and more agitated as she looks at more and more of them. They're all crap.
Make an investigation check.
Okie dokie.
This is more just to see if anything's actually useful, because everything is definitely rusted.
It's a dirty 20.
Okay. You think some of these weapons with potentially some grinding, and maybe, depending on what you take, some fixing of the halves and different things like that. You might be able to make some serviceable weapons here, but it will take time and it will take work.
I'll wait to see what everyone else is doing before I
start picking through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sephel is just kind of, I believe at the end of when we last met, he just kind of slumped against the wall. He is truly spent at this point, if he wasn't already before. Well, we made it to your forge. Make what you must. But from here we rest.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. I'm not feeling great.
Oh wait, what happened to Indigo?
He got
it's fine.
He got like necro.
Oh, that's right.
Beaten by a specter.
Yeah.
Yes. Why don't you all rest, and I will see what I can do with these weapons. And she's already walking over to the grinding wheel, completely prepared to like start attempting to fix some of these.
Well, hey, I'm still up. I can be a little bit of help. I do think we should probably, I don't know, fortify and not try to kill each other tonight. So we can, be at our best. At some point, we should check out the study, but maybe we should leave that for tomorrow, I guess. But Indigo will hop up and he'll roll over to help Lara start to assess and maybe grind off some of the rust off of these blades.
Okay. So I will kind of go down the list of weaponry that you do find in here. You do see that there is one shield. You guys will probably want to make note of this because there are some parameters to fixing this stuff. So there's one shield. There is one hand axe. There are 2 halberds. There are 4 daggers. There are 3 short swords. There is 1 battle axe. And there are 2 long swords. Now, I'm pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, none of you are proficient with smith's tools.
I am certainly not.
No.
You would be correct, sir.
I am proficient with leatherworkers, unfortunately not smiths.
I'm
Okay,
proficient with
hey,
vehicles.
leatherwork gives you something.
Yeah. If there was like a leather shield in here, I might be able to help you out, but...
You think if you join the others, do you kind of been picking over these pieces here, or are you just resting, Sephel?
I think Sephel is... If they approached and needed that skill set, I think Sephel would help. But right now, the priority is to rest. And
okay.
Sephel is entirely spent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Really doesn't have anything to give and needs to recover.
Sure.
And that requires at least some form of stasis, if not sleep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So because none of you are proficient with that, you do find throughout the entirety of these smithies what would amount to 1 set of smith's tools. So one of you guys can hold on to that if you would like. The wood that's in here that you could use, and the coal that you could use to try and relight a forge should you want to, might work. Some of the wood looks pretty damp, but some of the coal that still remains in the forge looks decent. So if you were going to use the larger forge, not the smaller forge, you could probably run it for about 2 hours. So if you were going to forge a single object, a large piece of armor, or a single large weapon to completion, you might have enough time to do one. If you're trying to use it in terms of repairs, you might be able to get 2 of these weapons to full standing strength. However, if you're going to take anything to the grinding wheel, it will take it essentially down a size category. And there will be DC checks on this. So if you're going to grind the battle axe without taking it to the forge, it's going to take it down to essentially like a hand axe in terms of power, because they're so pitted and so rusted. They've been sitting here for so long. The long swords would become short swords if you don't forge them. The short swords would become daggers. The daggers might be usable once as is. The halberds would effectually become spears. And the hand axe, it's kind of a usable thing once. It might not work too much. And the shield, if you got your leather working buddy to help you out, could be, with perhaps some scrounging, reserviceable to be a fully working regular shield. So it's up to you guys. You do have some odd materials that you'd picked up, those crystals that you could try to do something with here. You could try to fix 2 of these weapons. You could try to forge something entirely new, or you could just grind and take what you can get from this pile. Or if you want to get more creative, have at it. This is up to you guys.
Lara, are you a smith? Do you have a lot of smithing skill and experience?
I'm afraid not. My experience is really more rough than that. I certainly don't have any experience with these tools, although I think we could probably work together to make something work.
Oh yeah, we could definitely try. Do you think the ventilation shaft still works?
That's a good question.
No, just if we start a fire,
Can
we might just smoke ourselves out. I'll take a look. Indigo will put his head up the stove.
I will boost Indigo.
I mean, there's not too much boosting. It's more of you like just have to climb through the coals. I'll better describe this forge. It's one of the ones you probably. It's a little bit larger than what you would see at like a reenactment village, where you would kind of have to crawl across the old dormant coals, Indigo, and then like peek your head up in through the chimney, up the flue and everything. Are you all right with getting dirty?
Yeah, I'm a rough and tumble lad. Why not?
Sure. You crawl over and you look up, and you can tell from your eyes it seems to be clear, but you have no idea entirely.
Looks good.
Wonderful. Let's fire it up.
All right. What items do you want to repair?
What would be most useful for you? I feel as though I'm really only going to have a lot of success with the short swords and hand axe.
Nice. Yeah. Ooh, I would love some daggers, but I could just sharpen down some of these short swords if we don't want to waste forge time on them. No, it's really whatever's gonna work better for you.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Why don't we just kind of take apart these larger weapons that don't have a lot of use for us and transform it into these smaller ones, and maybe we can forego the forge entirely.
All right, sounds neat.
Sephel, do you need a weapon?
No.
He don't need no whipping.
What about a stick?
I have a staff.
All right.
Ooh, a bigger stick.
No, the only thing in terms of like, just because you mentioned the crystals, I don't know if it would actually do anything, but I think for shits, if he does anything in this room, he's probably going to take one of those crystals he has and try to like fit it in the gnarl of his staff
Cool.
and see if that would do anything.
Okay.
Obviously, there's more to focusing magic than that, but if all he does this rest is just spend time, let's say attuning, because I have no idea what it actually is, but getting accustomed to it, he can do identify as a ritual, which I think I already did with it, but just getting familiar with the crystal and like seeing how his magic affects it, maybe incorporating that as a part of his arcane focus, mayhaps.
Yeah, you know that its main property here, and it doesn't necessarily radiate magic until it's filled with magic, is that it can take in whatever is kind of pushed or passed through it and then conduct it back out, or it can kind of hold on to it. It kind of requires two different actions to kind of do something with it. So yeah, you could totally try to affix it to your staff and see what it does.
Sure.
You guys know from your notes and kind of from what you've seen earlier before that it can be worked in the forge, surprisingly. However, you're if you're not very familiar with the steel and iron of regular weapons, this might be an extremely tricky process to try and forge this stuff, but you can totally attempt it. I'm not going to hold you guys back from attempting anything. The other thing I should say is, like, between all the weapons here, you could sacrifice some things if you're just going to use a grinding wheel in the forge to try and make something entirely different off of any of like the armors and arms that you would normally find. So like you could throw in some stuff, melt down, try to forge out like a breastplate or another shield or a different type of weapon, whatever you're thinking. Oh, I see Sam has pulled out a spreadsheet. This makes me nervous.
No, it's fine. It's so that I know which weapons are like light versus. Because I always forget. But so I'm only proficient with light.
Okay.
Indigo, what if we split up here and you take the grinding wheel and I operate the forge? I'm kind of thinking that we should take advantage of that shield and perhaps attempt to make additional shields.
All right, yeah, sounds neat. All right, how many do you want to try to fix up one of these short swords into a sword for you?
Yeah.
I don't use swords. That's too complicated for me.
Yes, I would like a short sword and a hand axe. But I think you can do those on that grinding wheel. I don't need a long sword if you want to just grind down a long sword and grind down the battle axe.
Will do.
And then I'll take the forge and try and make something of this shield here, and also see if I can maybe pull together some of these other things to make another shield.
Sounds like I already have a shield, so unless Sephel needs one.
Oh yeah, can Sephel, do you want a shield?
Sorry if you guys got silent because you saw my reaction. I totally forgot that I had saved this way back in my notes because I was just flipping through. I do have the process, and this is from the Dungeon Master's Guide, on how to craft magic items, should you guys want to know how to do that.
Yeah, I think similar to Sephel, I want to put the crystal in the shield.
Okay.
To answer your question, a shield could be nice.
Okay. I mean, I can try.
Yeah, and I'm answering that as me because Sephel is just not paying attention to you. He's like, he got very, very calm and very quiet, and he did actually take out one of the crystals, and he sort of like plied the gnarled end of his staff around one of the crystals to like sort of create a twisted seat for it. So if you imagine like the spiral vine going around the raw crystal, he is looking very intently at that.
Lara leans into Indigo and she just says, look, I'm going to try and make him a shield, but he's not paying attention. If it doesn't work out, no one's the wiser, right?
Yeah, totally.
Great.
Cool, and I'll start grinding.
Okay. All right. Well, Lara, let's have you do some rolls here as you're going to try to... What are you melting down that you're going to try to make into the shield? This new shield.
I actually think I want to get even fancier.
Oh.
I would like to attempt to take this rusty shield.
Okay.
I want to melt it down and add in, like if I can break off a piece of the crystal and then also combine the piece of Oshni's egg that I'm currently using as a shell.
Okay.
So that it's like egg, melted down steel, crystal. See what I can get out of that.
So, describe to me how this is, like, what your end product is going to look like. Is this going to be like you're trying to go for like a Damascus, multiple materials mushed together in like a cool pattern? Or are you layering them together? Or are you trying to like... Tell me what you're trying to accomplish by the end of this with these three or properties, I should say. Materials.
Yeah, so I think it's going to end up being completely lopsided, just because she's not great at this, and she's also not a creative person. So she just kind of like melts everything down as much as she can, attempts to get it into a circle, and then she takes the crystal and plops it down in the middle.
Oh, okay. All right. Well. Oh boy. Let's make some rolls.
The little bit of forging that Will knows, I'm watching him cringe.
Look, Sam doesn't know forging. Honestly, Lara would probably know more than I do.
No, I'm gonna give Lara the benefit of the doubt that she at least could understand and has probably seen enough stuff in her wartime to kind of like imagine how this is gonna go. But as me, somebody who's done the basics of blacksmithing and then done like some other stuff with it, some other courses, there's a lot more to it than you might think, and it takes so much longer. But for the sake of this game and not drawing it out very long, we're just gonna see what the dice kind of tell us here. So I want you to first do let's do a intelligence check with me, kind of about the timing of when to kind of blend the egg and the metal together.
Okay, straight intelligence. 18.
Okay, so you figure, it's probably best to get like this steel in first, get in perhaps some of the imperfections of like the rust out and stuff like that. So you do that. You've got the forge going, it melts down, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to throw the eggshell in now. Unless you're trying to do kind of like a mother of pearl, almost like creative thing on top.
No.
Okay. So you're throwing it in there, hoping that maybe it'll do something for you.
Yeah, kind of like the way that I see it is like when you temper ceramics by including like shell in them, like including a little bit of like. So she probably honestly broke up the shell and just sprinkled it on top, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I get it. All right, so you've got it in this large crucible. It's all melted down, and then you are you're gonna try and like, on one of the larger surface areas, kind of like pour it out almost like a mold?
Yeah.
Or are you just going to let it cool, solidify, and then you're going to hammer it out into your shape? Which thing are you going to try and do?
Oh, God. I know there's a right answer.
I'll tell you, honestly, they're both suitable methods. Molds in the actual world and like pouring it out are very easy. It's not the typical way a shield would have been made necessarily, but an ingot will take a lot longer. So, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I think she's gonna have a mold ready and she's gonna pour it in, and then when it's still like solidifying and cooling, like
then
she's going to put the crystal in it.
Okay, make me another intelligence check just to see how well this mold was created.
Come on, Mama needs a new shield. 9? Wait, is that a 9 or a 6? 6. It's a 6.
Okay. It's doable. You think you've got it all in place. As you start pouring in the shell and steel mixture, some of it starts dribbling out, so it's a little bit thinner than you wanted, but it does eventually kind of harden into kind of a um, what's the right term I want to use here? It's kind of like a warbled surface. It's not very smooth or flat.
Okay.
So it's a little bit thinner and it's a little bit more warbled. With some hammering, you could probably get it into proper shape, but you do throw the crystal into the center as it is starting to solidify, and it is in there.
Cool.
And now to kind of get it into better shape, let's make a strength check.
All right. That's a 17.
Very nice. Okay, you get it out into a very nice kind of standard circular shield shape. Now, depending on how you want it, you can either have it strapped to your arm, you can kind of have a handle. It's not necessarily entirely important, but you do have what is the beginnings of a workable shield, and you can see as you look at it now that you've got it into shape, and as you are hammering it, you can see kind of like flecks, very small flecks of what you would presume to be the shell throughout the steel, kind of giving it this nice glow, and the crystal in the center, and it kind of like bevels up, the steel kind of beveled up to it, firmly holding it in place. So
Hell yeah.
It's a very cool looking item.
Cool.
Indigo, let's jump over to you. So what items were you sharpening / grinding down?
We're gonna grind down the battle axe, one long sword, and then all 3 short swords.
Okay, so you're gonna have 3 fully working daggers. You're gonna have 1 super good hand axe, and then did you say the long sword as well?
Yeah, gonna just grind it into a short sword for Lara.
Okay, so then just one of them, you're gonna have 1 short sword of great standard. Okay, and you guys have a super nice shield now. Now, Sephel, considering that this is going to take them a long, long time, like even after the forge has been burned out, for Lara to go ahead and hammer all this is going to take hours, and it's also going to take Indigo hours. Is there anything you want to do during that time period other than affixing the crystal to your staff?
Do you think... that's interesting.
Like, we're looking at almost the length of a full rest it's going to take for them to get through all this stuff.
Well, I was going to say, I think...
You have a weird shortened time period.
Yeah, I think I only have to rest 4 hours. I think it's similar to Elven.
Okay.
Yep, I can finish a long rest in 4 hours if I spend those hours in an inactive, motionless state. Yep, so I definitely think he would have done the bit on his staff, and I think his rest is honestly just going to manifest as a very, like, focused, meditative, like, stasis, where he is keying into, he's just sitting against the wall, probably crossed his legs, has his staff, like, horizontal across his lap, and he's holding it, feeling the connection of magic between him, the magic that was already in the staff, and the new magical presence introduced to both, and is sort of trying to create a channel or some form of connection, just seeing if anything's there. But I would say probably that's all he does, just to get the long rest in.
Sure. Well, you can go ahead and mark off a long rest.
Okay.
During that time, you kind of try to reach out with your mind, to try and establish any kind of connection here with this new crystal and this focus and everything else that you've had going on about you, all these energies. But you don't feel anything kind of happen between you and the crystal there.
Sure.
But who knows? It could work in a weird way. You never know until you try to do something else with it. It might just not be this thing.
Yep. Do I get the feeling throughout that, or maybe after, like at the end of that 4 hours when I key back in, do I get the feeling that it's not possible? Or, like, what kind of read am I getting? Like, I'm not going about it the right way. It's not a compatible thing. Is there a missing component? Do I get any sort of sense there?
Well, what are you trying to do with your staff? Are you, like, in mechanical terms, are you trying to make it like, I don't know, like a +1 wand, essentially?
No,
like a
no,
+1
not
staff?
really.
Like, or are you just okay?
No, I have no idea I'm essentially just like Dead Rising, just like I have two things. I'm gonna see if I can combine them together and it makes another thing. I don't really have an intention for it. Just seeing if two magical items could become one thing.
You don't think that the crystal itself necessarily holds any kind of innate magic. While you have fused both the staff and the crystal together, you don't think that it has necessarily made something new. But the staff being kind of your... you cast your spells through it. Am I correct in saying that?
Well,
okay.
Kind of. I think, no, the staff would be the focus.
Yeah.
The spell book is not the focus.
Well, you know that crystals can work as spellcasting focuses as well, so you've kind of put two together. And until you try to use literal magic through it, you won't really know if anything has occurred. That's what you get at through this meditation. Yeah.
Cool.
While you guys are doing all this, Stool is there next to you, Indigo, just like holding all the rusty things, like waiting for you to take them very quietly, just kind of like humming and bobbing to himself, just like, hey, we made it through. I saved my friends. Sephel's not dead. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm a hero. Look at me. I punched some guys.
Hero, hero, hero.
But Indigo's bumping along as well.
He's just having a good time. You guys are singing along and grinding some stuff together. Athera is kind of like sitting over on the old drawing board watching you work, Lara. And what do you have Ashni doing this whole time?
I think Ashni is perhaps like helping keep the shield in place while she hammers it. By like using their weight to like hold it while she hammers it.
So kind of like a kitten, you pick them up, put them on the shield, and just like stay.
Yes.
While you're hammering it. So Ashni is just kind of sitting there vibrating every couple of seconds as you're hammering down on it, but they managed to kind of stay there. All right.
Yeah.
So you guys spend a lengthy amount of time there. Sephel, you managed to kind of rest up during this period. You guys now have some weapons and a new shield. Yeah. You guys have done it. You have some real arms and armor. Woohoo! Way to go.
I think I would also like... I also just want to grab the 4 remaining daggers, knowing that they're rusty. I still want to have them.
Yep. Yeah, you can add 4. Just know that they're like 1 use a piece. So like if you try to stab someone, it would probably break in the stabbing of them, but it would do damage. If you throw them, depending on what you throw at, it might stick in there, but you might not have that many uses out of it.
Yeah. And I don't feel like I would be able to carry like the long swords and the halberds too, but...
depends on your equipment weight. You know, can you handle it? You know, your strength.
Well, I'm also carrying the rations and the water. So I just feel like no.
Okay.
Yeah, and Indigo will make sure that you get the short sword and the hand axe that he files down.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Indigo. This is great work.
Oh, thanks. You know, me and Stu, we do good work.
Yes, I'm sure you did great.
Okay. So what are you guys thinking? You've been in this castle for a while now. In terms of recording, definitely been a while. In terms of game, you'd think probably potentially off the time that you've been there, it's probably been 2, almost 3 days at this point that you've been in here. What's going through everybody's minds now?
I need to get to that study.
Yes, I was just going to say, Sephel, you seem to be well rested now, but I believe Indigo, you could use some time.
Yeah, but you know, if we want to go into the study, I can kind of nap while Sephel gets his read on. That way, we can all still be together in case anything happens.
I am capable of studying without your presence. We've
I know,
cleared
but
this area. We know it's safe. I cannot say the same for the study.
Oh, I know, but what if you open a drawer and, you know, the drawer eats your arm, and then if I'm not there to heal you, what would happen?
If you die, you are not there to heal me either.
That's a conundrum right there.
I think in any strategy, we shouldn't split up. We should always be together. We don't know what's going to occur in this sort of hellscape. We've come across all these different beings out of seemingly nowhere. It would be unwise to have someone alone.
Fine.
Looks like you got a study buddy.
I'm not sweeping you off the floor. I will throw another body down a hole.
Sephel, that
Oh my.
fine. No, let's just go.
My
He's
delicate
already
moral
walking
fiber.
across the hallway.
All right, you guys make your way over to the study after that kind of odd interaction and threatening of bodies down a shaft.
Only if he's already dead. I'm not going to kill him.
Okay.
Yeah, we know that. I'm sure Lara and Indigo are very certain that that is what you meant.
I'm not gonna, I won't create the corpse. That's too much work on a spell slot I don't want to burn. But
Jeez.
Just because Indigo definitely saw that sweet lizard rug before, before he like heads to bed in here. Can he try to identify what kind of animal that used to be?
Totally. Roll either nature or arcana.
Let's do nature. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. It is a drake, specifically a green-skinned drake.
Ooh. Interesting. I would like to lie down on it and take my nap there.
It is dusty and a little rough due to the scales, but comfortable enough, I guess.
Lara's gonna take a chase.
Okay, she takes a chase, lounges out. Stool takes up this huge couch, and he's just like, "Wow, is this common? This is really comfortable. I wish I could feel more. I really can't feel it."
Lara says nothing. She does not care.
Okay,
I'm sure you'll get a feel one day, Stool. Don't you worry.
I hope so.
Man, I didn't realize there's so much furniture in this room before I laid down the rug, but you know I'm comfy, so.
Athera is still very quiet, and she just kind of flutters about the room. She looks kind of puzzled and confused before kind of settling over on top of a old broken desk on the far southern wall. To kind of quickly go through some of the depth here, the floor here is kind of a mosaic of a large crescent moon with stars in some corners of it. Otherwise, what looks like a black sky. There is a large and very nicely high-backed chair in front of a desk towards the center of this room, just opposite of Indigo. There's a large, semi-broken statue against the western wall, along with another kind of open desk to the north of it. A fireplace to the south of the statue, and then bookshelves kind of around with missing pieces, and some old and weapons racks that actually do not hold anything on them. And these large L shapes on either side, to the east and to the west of the organ, the very busted up organ, are also semi-empty bookshelves. So, Sephel, you have the run of the place. What do you want to do?
This is Christmas. In a study, the everybody else, I imagine, is taking their portion of the rest. So he's literally a kid in a candy shop right now. Well, obviously, he is going to want to pour through the books that are there to see if there is anything of interest. Obviously not. He wouldn't immediately grab anything and open the spot, like open the books. I think he's intelligent enough to know that there are, if there were any magics in some of these books, people that harbor them are typically smart enough to try to protect them. So he's not going to do anything like immediately rash. I think he's going to look through the spines. He definitely wants to check out that desk, just kind of see what is. He was like very disappointed that there was nothing arcane in nature in the library, and this to him is like a second chance, even if it's sparse.
Well, make me that investigation check. You're going. Wait. Well, first, tell me which thing you want to do. You want to do the bookshelves, or do you want to do the desk?
Let's.
Both are going to be separate rolls.
Yep. Let's look at the books first.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and make that investigation check.
Okay. All right. Which die do I trust here? Let's try this way. That is a natural 20.
Ooh.
For a total of a 27.
Wow. Damn. All right. As you're going through the books, kind of just carefully perusing, you find two things that pique your interest the most. The rest appear to be kind of rubbish or unreadable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want the more exciting thing or the less exciting thing first?
Oh, just give me. Let's build up. Let's go least exciting to most exciting.
Okay. You find a book that kind of catches your attention because of what it kind of talks about. It's missing most of its cover, but on the back it talks about materials for wizards. And you kind of flipping through, a lot of it's not legible, but towards the middle, kind of between a lot of the water damaged and mildew stained pages and faded writing, you find a section talking about a wizard named Akar Kessel. A-K-A-R, capital K-E-S-S-E-L, who far to the north came across a type of shard, crystal shard. And with it was able to erect a great black tower in the far snowy norths of Faerun. And after many years of delving through his magics there, it was eventually destroyed. However, it infused much of the landscape there with much of the magic that he had been using. And through it, and through the structure that he had made, it created a crystalline substance that would later be called Chardalyn. Chardalyn. It was very malleable. It could be worked into various materials, and it looked like a shiny black steel. You guys have probably seen once in your obsidian, right? How it's like that black kind of glassy look. That's what it looks like. But it could be formed and moved like steel or any other type of metal, very easily used. And it was very reactive to magic. Now, you think by this reading that the crystals that you have found are similar, but they do not carry the same coloring. What you read about it is that a lot of these shards were picked up by other wizards that were kind of rivals of this Akar, and they took them to different parts of the of Faerun and kind of sequestered them away and studied them and used them. However, one came to the Underdark and started using it, and he was able to create numerous magical items from it. Such things as to create extremely powerful wands and staves, and that this magic that was kind of innately tuned in with this Chardalyn could either be exceptionally good or exceptionally bad. And it was never quite sure which. So, what you learn from that is that there is a very, very interesting crystal metal substance here in the Underdark, kind of sequestered away by a long, probably you would presume dead wizard that you could do lots of magical things with. The much more exciting thing.
That was the non-exciting one?
You're going to love this a lot more.
Dude, I can't say certain things.
Just hold on to your britches.
I need
You find that it is actually a false book. It is a case for 2 scrolls.
Oh.
There it is.
Give me.
There it is. There are 2 spell scrolls.
Okay.
The first of which...
Hold on. Let me get this. Okay. All right. Hit me.
The first is for the spell Absorb Elements.
Ooh, okay.
This is a first level spell.
Yeah.
You know all about it?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
For our audience...
But for the listening audience, yeah. Explain the spell.
The spell captures some of the incoming energy, lessening its effect on you and storing it for your next melee attack. You have resistance to the triggering damage type until the start of your next turn. Also, the first time you hit with a melee attack on your next turn, the target takes an extra 1d6 damage of the triggering type, and the spell ends. This takes, it has a casting time of 1 reaction, it's a somatic component spell, and it's a range of self. And if you cast it at larger spell levels, it increases the damage by 1d6. So, is this a spell that you could learn from the scroll?
I can learn all spells from scrolls.
Ooh,
but
very
yes.
good.
Yes, it is.
All right. The next one is a 2nd level scroll.
Oh, don't tease me.
And it is for the spell Blur.
Interesting.
It's a casting time of 1 action, range
Hell
of
yeah.
self. Your body becomes blurred, shifting and wavering to all who can see you. For the duration, any creature has disadvantage on attack rolls against you. An attacker is immune to this effect if it doesn't rely on sight, as with blind sight, or can see through illusions, as with true sight. It is a verbal component spell, and it lasts for a minute. So in it, you find an illusion spell and an abjuration spell.
Indeed.
Some good stuff, my man.
Yes, thank you. Very, very excited for spells. However, and this is where that desk comes in, I do need some materials if I am to copy them, if I don't want them to just be a one-time use. So I'm hoping that whoever was the previous owner of this study had some fine quality paper and ink, but I suppose we shall see.
Yeah, make me that investigation check.
Let's do it. I'm not going to get another 20, but this die has done me well. Huh. I should have switched. Take your luck when you have it. I mean, thanks to my high investigation score, it's not a terrible roll. It's oh, well, actually, this is important. So I'm going to go ahead and burn one of my knowledges. And I'm going to add a d6 to that roll.
Let's see how helpful this is.
I rolled a 1.
Oh.
Okay. So that's a total of a 15.
Okay. As you're kind of poring over this desk, some of the things you notice here are that what looks like on top of the desk were a large amount of opened correspondence. Mm-hmm. You would presume to be letters or scrolls from various types of people, because you can see old wax seals. However, much of the writing is illegible at this point. Inside, though, you do find 3 sheets of decent paper.
Okay.
You do find an old inkwell, though there's not too much in it. And you find a broken quill that you think, perhaps with some sharpening, you could get it of some use again. And you also find, where did it go? There it is. You also find a very nice amethyst in there. For those that don't know, an amethyst is a transparent deep purple gemstone worth 100 gold pieces.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Some money, money, money. And that is actually all you find.
Okay. All right.
Pretty damn good haul, if I say so myself.
No. Hey, you're not going to hear me complain. I think other than that, I am sort of interested just to get sort of a feel. So there were a couple scrolls. There are quilling materials, although I guess you can't really make a whole lot of assumptions for that. It is a study desk. It could have just been typical for letters. Do I get the feeling that this study belonged to anybody of actual, like, arcane study, or was it just somebody had the study, they collected all kinds of things, and there just happened to be some items of magical make in there?
With your investigation checks that you made before, that you think that this study belonged to someone who is incredibly learned, but perhaps didn't practice any magics of their own.
Gotcha.
You feel like you would have found, well, for what you find, this is what you assume, considering a lot of the books are missing or illegible.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't make too much more about that, but you feel pretty confident that if this was some kind of master spellcaster study or something of the like, that you would have encountered perhaps some old spells protecting some of these belongings. So you would assume it was just someone who was incredibly learned but didn't practice.
Fair enough. Cool. Fish got my wish. Okay, I'm going to...
Wow, never heard that before.
Really?
Yep.
Cool. I think I need to look into it. So, if I have everything that I am meant to... Actually, I can do this off. We can figure this out, because there's probably going to be some dead time in this room while everybody else is resting. But yeah, while everybody else is going to rest, he's going to post up and mix of read through that. He's actually very interested in that book that he found about Akar Kessel, or the book that contained information. And the Chardolin. So I think he's going to read a little bit. He's going to spend time reading some of that. Maybe do some copying if he has the materials, but I'm not going to take up time doing that here.
Okay. I'll just quickly tell you, this can be edited out or left in. Most of what I told you before is what you get from reading it.
That's all that's in that book.
Really, that's like what's left to be legible.
Gotcha.
There'd be a little bit more on, how a handful of wizards came as soon as the tower had erupted and kind of scattered the pieces about with them on their own. As when the tower was erected, they really couldn't get into a car. Something about the crystal's properties and the magics that he was controlling inside kind of repelled them away naturally. So that's basically what you find out from that.
All right, cool. Then I am satisfied. I will keep watch and be giddy.
Okay. You guys were going for a long rest, I'm presuming, in this study while Sephel was doing his work. Yes?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we will say that Sephel spends that time, doing everything that we've just discussed, and you guys can go ahead and mark off a long rest. You managed to go through that time period unmolested.
Yay.
I was worried about some dreams, so feeling good.
Don't remind
you guys...
him.
Oh no, don't worry. I was thinking about it. So you guys awaken. Sephel sits in the high back chair, perusing through books and scrolls. What do you guys want to do?
I think we need to head back to the main entryway to this castle and decide if our plan is to move those boulders and move north or to follow the direction that Bupito, Topsy-Turvy, and the others have gone.
Yeah, I mean, just hear me out. Before we leave, this is a pretty spooky room. I mean, look, there's a statue, there's an organ, there's all these books. What if there's like a secret passage in here? I think we should look around. And then we'll go do those things you say. But like, I mean, come on. Haven't you read all those like cool stories where they find a creepy passageway behind a bookcase?
No.
Well, and he goes into like a long narration of what that's like.
I mean, fine. I'll help, but I don't think we should take a ton of time here. We've already spent probably far too long in the study and the armory.
Oh, no, we'll be quick.
And Indigo is going to roll up that green drake rug and kind of do it.
Nice.
Listen,
okay.
It's some nice high quality leather, I assume.
You could, I'll just tell you this now. If you wanted to sacrifice the nice rug that you've rolled up, you could probably make some like hide or leather armor out of that.
Okay. Thinking about it.
Yeah, keep that in the back of your head.
Yeah.
But you want to look for some secret passageways in this room?
Yeah, I want to do a Scooby-Doo and the Gang level search of this room.
Okay. Do the rest of you guys want to help out on this? Because I'll give them some bonuses if you do.
Oh, hell yeah.
Lara is attempting
Actually-
to speed this along, so she's helping, and Ashni's also helping.
All right.
Sephel actually 100% agrees with this and is kind of like cringes that he didn't think of it yesterday when he was lost in, I say yesterday, before the rest, but yeah.
You were lost in the sauce of them scrolls, boy.
Yeah, man, you put runes and scrolls in front of me, I'm gonna get distracted.
Yeah.
I'm a simple bitch.
And we're about to get spoopy up in here. All right, so Andrew, I'm going to say, because you have two other people helping here, you have advantage, and instead of giving you double advantage, I'm going to say that the DC for finding anything has also gotten lower. So
nice.
Go ahead.
Cool. Is this perception or investigation?
You know what? I'll let you do either one. I'm kind. I'm benevolent.
What a benevolent DM. I'm gonna go for.
No, this means he wants us to find the door. Turn back.
Abort mission!
Too late.
No, roll, Andrew, roll it.
I
You're
want
too
you
late.
to find me.
Yes.
The vortex opens and takes you through the door.
You are too late, Sam. Perception, that is a 24.
Jesus.
Oh
All
my
right.
god.
Nice. You do find a secret passageway.
Oh,
No.
no.
Oh, no.
That's insane.
Scooby-Doo
As
logic.
It'll get you far. So as Indigo and the gang move around with their... Who would be Scooby here? Would it be Stool or Ashni?
No, it would be Stool.
Stool. It would be Stool.
Okay. So as Indigo and the gang move around the room...
I'm
Indigo,
Fred, and Sephel is Daphne.
Excuse me. I am 110% Velma.
No, I was going to say Indigo is totally Velma.
Yeah, I think
Jinkies.
Indigo's Velma.
I don't know, man. What's your intelligence score?
I think Sephel with your long, weird, lanky body that
That's
you're
what I'm
totally
thinking.
Shaggy.
Is that,
Oh, Shaggy.
Oh, no.
Oh, Shaggy's good. Sorry.
yeah. I mean, if you go just on physicality, I'm a little insulted at the insinuation of intelligence
sorry.
there. But that's...
Hey,
No, I was-
Shaggy's pretty smart. He just doesn't want to get into danger. He
No,
knew
he's
himself
just
safe
stoned all the
spots.
time.
Yeah.
He's probably god tier genius, and he just suppresses it under all of that weed and snacks.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. So in the southeast corner, Indigo, this statue here, you see something that kind of looks odd. And as you reach up to this figure's arm, you like kind of rub along the arm and you actually find a hollow space in the palm of the hand. And as you press in, click, and the grating of stone as it kind of moves to the side, and you see at its base is a staircase that descends and heads eastward.
Oh shit.
Oh, no.
Well, look at that,
Like
my
what?
friends.
Do
Looks like
you
we have
do?
a new direction to consider.
It's going down.
Mhm.
There's a lower floor.
Indigo just gestures
mean-
broadly at the staircase and like nods, like, you know you wanna. You know you wanna.
Sephel is going to step up to the stairs. If we're going to go through the trouble of investigating for entrances, what is the point of not exploring them? And he's just going to start walking down the stairs.
Okay.
Yeah. What he said.
And I'm gonna follow him.
Okay. So you guys start going down this staircase. As you do, you see very quickly that it actually only descends about 10 feet and then continues on a level plane to go about another 30 or so feet before you start seeing a staircase that actually starts to go back up.
Huh. Is it just a hallway, or is it like a room with another staircase?
It appears to be just a hallway.
Shortcut.
Indigo, do you believe that this is another one of those rooms that maybe has another... No, this is a shortcut. Makes more sense.
I think it's probably a shortcut.
Okay.
Yeah, just imagine the learned man sitting in his study, and then, he hears a noise, but, he won't be caught unawares, and he hustles over to his statue, and then, boop, escaped.
Do you proceed to the second staircase?
Onward and upward.
Huzzah!
Okay.
Yeah, I think Lara's bringing up the rear and making sure
Okay.
that Thera's in the center of the party.
Yeah, she's kind of fluttering about the tops of your heads as there's plenty of space, and Stool is kind of just plodding along, and Ashni's right there with you.
Did the passage close behind us, or is there
No.
still an opening to the study?
There's still an opening to the study, but you do see when you looked back that there's kind of like, the old-fashioned like toilet flushing like long chain
like
pulleys.
the pull chains.
You see one of those that seems to link back up to it, so it could be closed from this side. And as you come up the other set of stairs, you see that there's another one of those and a solid stone wall in front of you.
I imagine pulling this chain will open the other side of the way. We should decide if we would like to keep this as a open means of egress, or if we would like to cover our tracks and close the way to the study.
Well, I think it's probably good to keep it open. That way, if we need to, we can, make a hasty retreat.
I think leaving it open makes it clear to anyone that enters the study that someone has gone through it.
The secret entrance is no longer a secret if you make everyone aware it has been used.
Okay, well, yeah, we can shut it up.
For once, Sephel and Lara agree.
Indigo is unnerved by this, so he assents.
Oh, look, a blue moon.
Yeah, Lara will walk back and pull the chain to shut it.
Okay. You see the statue move back into place. When you hear a click as it sinks into place.
And if Indigo hasn't already, once that's done, Sephel will pull the chain and open the way forward.
You pull on the chain, and you see the wall recede into the wall from left to the right-hand side. And you walk in behind a large, what looks like wooden cask, into what appears to be a very brightly colored, however, very much broken up kitchen space. You guys pop out of this corner. Let's go ahead and move your tokens.
Well, I'm assuming we came out here.
Yeah, you came out from behind the very large casks.
Yeah.
You see that on the eastern side wall are two very old-looking stone stoves and ovens. You see some old rotted piles of wood, the two very old beer casks behind you that you had come from between. You see a couple of broken tables, a very large mass of that red kind of colored crystal in the far northeast corner. You see a very big brick hearth and kind of like domed oven to the far north. To the left of it, you see two decent-sized chests, and you see a doorway on the western wall, kind of to the northwest. And along with a couple of skeletal bodies laying on the floor. But as you come in, you do not see them move. What do you do?
Indigo, you saw the map. Where do you gauge we are in relation to where we've come from?
I think we might have moved to the west a little bit. So that's pretty cool.
You would think, Indigo, based off of the kind of description of the castle, that you are in the main kitchens of the castle and that the doorway to the west would lead into the grand ballroom. So you have, in fact, moved to the western side of the castle.
And is the ballroom different from the banquet hall?
It's essentially the same thing. Yeah, my apologies.
No, it's all good. I want to make sure.
Well, yeah, I think we're right next to the ballroom, and from the ballroom we might be able to go to the knights' quarters. Maybe they have some neat stuff. And also, I think we're over on the west side now, so we're kind of near where Bupido and Topsy Turvy went. So maybe keep your eyes out for them.
Before this is something we might want to keep track of. Before we go, and we should, we've dallied enough. Sephel wants to make sure that he knows what the trigger mechanism is for this side of the secret entrance. So, like whatever in this room opens the wall, he wants to make sure that he can find that and be aware of it if they need to open it and leave.
You look back towards the wall, and you see that the opening is still, in fact, open. And you see that there is amongst the stone wall, you see that there is a blacker or darker piece of stone that is actually sticking out from the rest of the wall. And you presume if you were to push it back into place, the wall would shut.
Okay. He's going to point that out, make sure make sure everyone is aware of it in case he's not the first one to come in or anything happens. And then he is going to depress it and close the wall behind us.
Okay. Hey, Lara, what's your passive perception?
Oh, fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Indigo
9?
and Sephel, you guys can actually give those to me as well. So a 9 for Lara, okay.
Passive perception? Jesus. 10.
10, okay.
Don't worry, I got you guys. 16.
16
I had an
passive?
idea of an action she was going to do.
Yeah.
Oh, 16 down.
Jeez.
Okay. Somewhere to the north of this room, Indigo, you swear you hear something like, yeah, but very like kind of softly and muted, just like.
There's something creepy somewhere to the north. Yeah, definitely somewhere to the north. Huh. Should watch out for
Indigo,
that.
that means nothing.
No, I heard like a weird kind of like gurgling sound, like, I don't know. Like, it sounded unpleasant, I guess.
No, please emulate it. Could you make the sound?
I mean, yeah, it's
If this is your continued plight to insult me, can we leave it alone for now?
No,
I thought it was pretty good.
No, Sephel, this is not about you.
It's not your stomach.
I heard like a weird sound.
In this room or outside this room?
I think maybe just like a little further north than where we are now.
Well, let us continue on.
Yes. Lara will march to the door.
Okay. Indigo, as you get close to the door, you hear that. And it seems to be coming from one of the chests close to that hearth near the door.
Oh, hell no.
And then you hear,
So hungry.
Don't do it, man.
Hey guys. That box over there is talking. Whew. How should we handle the situation?
Am I hearing it?
you could make a perception check.
Just because Indigo has now mentioned it.
Yeah, if we're actually listening for it now, I will
It's a
do
3.
that as well.
What was that again?
3.
3? You don't hear it.
I have a 13.
13? You do hear it.
Okay.
I'm so hungry.
I hear nothing.
The box is saying it is hungry. Perhaps
Hey,
throw a ration in it.
Hey, box. Are you hungry? What do you like to eat?
You.
It's a loaded question.
You say this to the chest,
What the fuck?
and you don't see anything move of the chest, but you hear mutedly what you think is inside just.
Anything. Food.
I hear nothing.
Come on, Lara. Just give me a ration. Give me one little ration.
This is why I'm in charge of the rations. I'm not going to give you one to feed to a box. We're moving on.
Can I cast Celestial Burst on the chest?
Okay, yeah. You can do that. You cast Celestial Burst.
Yeah,
it
I'm just gonna-
slams into the chest. Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
No. But you still hit.
At this point, we're just making a ton of noise and losing any sort of stealthy advantage we may have had for whatever
Now-
is outside of this hallway.
Well, okay. A distinction needs to be made because of the wording of the spell. does it look like nothing happened? Like, did I hit a chest and it looks like a spell hit a box and did a little bit of damage? Or is the chest now emitting light?
You hit it and it looks like you did a little bit of damage to the box.
Oh, maybe they're inside the box. I think we should open the box.
The box is not an object.
You're losing it.
Indigo, do you want to open the box? I'll help you open
I
the
know
box.
enough of my own magics. If the spell hits an object, it emits light. There's no light. The box is not an object.
I'm sorry. You did damage to the box. Like, you hurt the physical box. It is lighting up. It is an object. I want to make that clear. Okay.
You be careful. I'm about to go apeshit on this box, Will.
I get it. As an experienced player, I can just tell you in the metagame, it's not a mimic.
Well,
that was not clear before right now.
we're not
Sorry.
metagaming, and Sephel is still nervous about it. And if it took a second to emit light, a delayed effect is not something he's used to, so he is still skeptical of the box.
Oh, hey, you know what? You want to roll me a d20 because you cast a spell?
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's make
See
that
what
happen.
happens.
Actually, yeah, I'll roll you a d20 and you tell me if anything happened because I was using the staff with the crystal in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I rolled a 16.
Okay. You feel that fight to kind of push your magics through the Ferez and nothing happens. However, you see that the magic actually kind of channel, like you see the crystal light up with the celestial power, and then it kind of like flashes, and then the celestial burst happens. So you think that it is being used as a spellcasting focus. However, because you just hit an object, you're not necessarily if it did anything else, but it does look like it is channeling your magics.
Sure. Cool.
I'm gonna open the box.
Indigo walks up and opens the box.
Okay, it is unlocked. You open it up, and inside you see a bunch of clothes. You see a small leather pouch, and you see a like an old stoneware jar, and you see a couple of loose coins inside.
Fucking
All
what?
right, I'll pick up the loose coins, and then I want to take a look inside the pouch real quick.
You open up the pouch and you find 10 copper pieces inside.
The leather pouch is the mimic. It bites your hand.
All right, I'm gonna...
As you picked up the leather pouch, however, you see the jar. A seam appears in the middle of it, and a long purplish tongue.
Get the
is
fuck
sharp.
out of here.
And it's just like and it's this tiny little mimic, and it doesn't attack you. That's where we'll leave off this week.
What the fuck, man? I was joking.
Hey, you, loyal listener, you've made it this far to the post show notes, and that means the absolute world to us. Thank you so much for being here. If you have one more second, we would adore you if you could leave a rating and a review in whatever podcatcher you're currently listening in. The ratings and reviews are astronomical when it comes to growing the show because it's what gets us noticed for new listeners. So if you have just a moment to do that, please do. And we also have a Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram if you want to give us a follow. It's at The Madness Table. And if you've noticed, we are now posting weekly episodes because of supporters like you. So if we haven't said it enough, thank you. And we will see you in just 7 short days for our next episode when...
The madness continues.